Has anyone in the class ever bought an item only to find there are no instructions on how to assemble it? Has anyone in the class ever been so completely frustrated when you thought you were done assembling an item only to find a few extra parts laying around the house? Well, when you buy a hookah, it typically doesn't come with any kinds of instructions how to assemble it. So today is your lucky day if you are planning on purchasing a new hookah, because I'm going to tell you the basic parts of a hookah, the general instructions that could be used with almost any hookah, and some tricks and tips I've learned along the way that have worked for me. Let's move on to the basic parts you will need to assemble your hookah. According to the hookahhub.com, you will need the following parts to make sure you assemble your hookah correctly. You will need the base, which houses water for your hookah. And then you'll need the pipe, which is the body of the hookah pretty much. You will need the hose. The hoses come in different colors and sizes, whichever you prefer. You will then need your the proper gaskets. Here's the hose gasket. It's rubber. Sometimes it comes in plastic. Here's the bowl gasket right here. It's also rubber. You want to make sure you have a coal tray here. Coal tray catches all the ash or debris that could fall off your hookah on your carpet, so it's very important to have that. And then you will need your tongs, which I do not have. I have recently lost them, but they look a lot like what you'd use in a kitchen, except on a smaller scale. And then you want to make sure you have your bowl, which houses tobacco, which you smoke. As listed by the hookahmanual.com, it is a good idea to thoroughly inspect each part of your new hookah. So we will first off by inspecting the base here. Make sure there are no chips or cracks. Chips normally happen along the top. Cracks normally happen along the side or bottom. You want to make sure you don't have any of those. And then you want to get your hookah pipe. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Make sure your release valve has a ball bearing. This particular pipe does not have a release valve, but does have a ball bearing in here, so that'll work too. And then we want to go ahead and check your hose. Make sure there are no hose or rotting. There's no rotting, so when you'll get proper airflow when you're smoking your hookah. And then you want to make sure your stem fits inside the base, nice and snug, which it does. Then after that, you want to basically check your bowl for any kind of cracks. Your bowl houses tobacco. Make sure it has no cracks or anything like that. And lastly, you want to make sure your hose fits properly into the hose housing here, which it does. If you have any other kind of hookah accessories, you want to just check those to make sure they're in good working condition, and you'll be satisfied with them while you're smoking your hookah. It's a good rule of thumb for me to clean each part of a hookah that I get when I purchase it, just to stay on the safe side and make sure there's no other residue. So when you clean your hookah, you want to make sure every part that you clean is free of water, because for your base, it is metal here, and water creates rust. So then you want to take your hose and you make sure there's no moisture in the pipe itself. Moisture can create mold or mildew. So now that we have all the required parts to assemble the hookah, let's go ahead and assemble it and get it ready to smoke. You want to start off with your base here, making sure there's water in your base, of course. I typically fill it up halfway. Just worked for me for any of my previous hookahs, halfway. You want to take your hookah pipe, insert where you see the rubber gasket into the top of the base here. Make sure it's a nice tight seal on there, which seems to be. Then you will want to take your rubber hoses, or excuse me, your hose, and make sure the rubber collar's into the prospective hose housing. Insert your hose, making sure there's a nice tight seal. It stays in there and won't fall out. And after your hose, you want to check your coal tray here to make sure it doesn't fall out. If any debris hits it, if it's loose, it will come undone and get all the carpet. I've seen it happen before. From then, you want to take your your bowl gasket, insert it right here. Take your bowl, insert it. There you have it. It's completely assembled and ready to smoke. All it's missing is tobacco. Now that we have everything assembled, I'm going to go ahead and share with you a few helpful hints and tricks that I've learned along the way. So when you fill your base up, like I said, you want to fill it halfway with water. Then after you filled it, you want to take your hose here and kind of give it a little quick inhale. Make sure you hear that bubbly noise. And with that bubbly noise, it's always good to have a little vibration, and that makes sure you don't have too little water or too much water. If you have too much water, it will come through your hose, and you just need to dump a little bit out. So your hookah is ready to smoke. Let's go ahead and recap the things I have talked about during these instructions. I have listed the proper parts and parts you'll need for your hookah, as well on how to inspect each part to make sure you have the best hookah experience, and how to clean it just to make sure nothing is there's no mildew or any kind of anything in there. So, and I've also listed a few helpful hints. Now that you're ready to smoke your hookah, I wish you happy smoking, and get ready to have some fun.